Welcome, everyone. It's another week of Cowboys training camp, and this is Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford. I'm Brad Sham with Mickey Spagnola, and I'm here to advise you to pay no attention to the calendar, which says the Cowboys have a game in 3 weeks, but they've really kind of just started practicing. We'll get to that in a minute, but the hot topic of the day on social media has been, regarding the Cowboys anyway, has been around safety Earl Thomas, with whom the Cowboys have flirted, and he flirted first a couple of years ago when he was playing for Seattle. Now, 3 teams later, he's been released by Baltimore after being engaged in a scuffle with a teammate. So there's a lot of questions about whether the Cowboys still have interest in Earl Thomas, and Mike McCarthy wouldn't answer that question directly at his news conference this morning, but he did indicate that, like his predecessor Jason Garrett, he is extremely interested in character.
Well, I mean, everything's looked at, and at the end of the day, I think the most important question you needed to ask is, how does the player fit into the locker room? Because that, to me, that's usually a huge determining factor on if it happens or doesn't happen too. So, and just like anything in this business, there has to be, a mutual, understanding, and to bring those things together. So at the end of the day, as the head coach, my focus is on our current locker room.
And while Mike McCarthy is worried about his locker room and how a guy would fit in there, I'm sure the front office is worried about, well, if we did do this, how much would it cost? And you know that Earl Thomas had a $10 million guaranteed salary that the Ravens are trying to recoup. So I think teams that would be interested in him have to know, is he getting that $10 million? Or if I hire him, does he want that $10 million back if he doesn't?
Meanwhile, back to the calendar. 3 weeks from yesterday, the Cowboys play the Rams in the season opener. But according to the number of practices and installations they've had, they should just be getting ready for their first preseason game. And that's why Coach McCarthy is looking so intently at practice this week.
This week is so important because we want to come through this week feeling like we did at the end of this past week work, and I'm fully confident we'll do that. But we have a good plan, and we'll be ready. There's no question about that. But just specifically how we get there is really to be seen, because we're evaluating every practice and every snap, and we just want to make sure, because we do have some time at the end of this week in practices next week, just to make sure that we really hit everything thoroughly before we get into an in-season schedule.
So not only is this week really important, but the Cowboys have a scrimmage scheduled for Sunday at AT&T Stadium. And Brad, I would imagine that's going to be very important also.
It's going to be their only real football-like work other than the practice field all summer long. One of the highlights for the Cowboys coming into this season is a new kicker, and Mickey's going to talk all about Greg Zuerlein when we come back on Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, is brought to you by AT&T. Sleep Number. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by Sleep Number. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store.
Welcome back to Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford. Brad Sham and Mickey Spagnola. When the NFL agreed to cut off-season rosters from 90 to 80, it reduced the number of kickers the Cowboys brought to camp from 2 to 1. Former Ram Greg Zuerlein is the man, and the Cowboys might have something here. Mickey's got that story.
After spending 8 seasons with the Los Angeles Rams, kicker Greg Zuerlein is on to something new, the Dallas Cowboys' new kicker.
It's unique, I would say. I like it a lot. Coming into the NFL, you don't really know what to expect. And so going into that situation, it was, it's all I've ever known. And so that's what I thought the NFL was. And I did that for 8 years, and now switching to a new team, seeing that that's not always the way things are, but also having that familiarity with Coach Fossil is huge. So it's kind of the best of both worlds for me. I get to be with the guy that brought me in the league, who I have so much respect for. I think he's the best coordinator in the NFL. And then also the excitement of being in a new city, new teammates, getting to know all the guys in the locker room. It's just, I couldn't be happier.
Last year with the Rams was not a typical season for the normally steady Zuerlein, converting just 72.7% of his field goal attempts.
I think anytime you have a bad year, which last year was a terrible year for me, no excuses there. You go back and see, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And for one reason or another, it didn't go the way I would want. But now I'm here and have new teammates, new opportunities, and so just being healthy, feeling good, feeling confident in everything that I'm doing. I think I'm ready to go right now.
There was an extenuating circumstance for his problems, a bothersome groin injury the last half of the season, keeping him from practicing during the week.
If I'm out there, regardless of how I feel or anything, I should make kicks. And so there's no excuse for not making kicks. You can ask any guy in any locker room. No one feels 100% all the time. And so to make some type of excuse for that, I think is unacceptable. And so me not performing to my expectations is on me.
Now there is a stand-up guy.
Greg Zuerlein's not the only new Cowboy adding some excitement to this training camp. Mickey and I are going to talk about the defensive line when we come back on Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford.
This segment was brought to you by Sleep Number. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store.
Welcome back. It's Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford. Brad Sham and Mickey Spagnola. It's been really interesting to watch the Cowboys' new-look defensive line start to come together in training camp, and there have been times when the holdovers, DeMarcus Lawrence and Tyrone Crawford, have been in the same line with new additions, Aldon Smith and Everson Griffin. And another new addition, veteran nose tackle Don Terry Poe, thinks it's one of the most interesting-looking groups he's ever been a part of.
Oh, I think it'll be great. I think it's going to be amazing. And then, you name those guys who have a history of making a lot of plays, but, guys like Ty Crawford and Antoine Woods, those guys have been helping me a lot get acclimated to how we're doing things, and I think they'll be making a lot of plays. So I think we're just going to have waves of D linemen coming at you and trying to make plays.
Now, we've heard of the dream team. To me, this is the dream line when the Cowboys line up like that. Now, they've been using a lot of different combinations of guys on the line, guys standing up on the outside, the different defensive tackles. But, boy, when they get those four guys together, it would make you drool as a fan. So, Brad, I think that they've got something going here. And I'll tell you what I've seen of Everson Griffin, he's still got it.
Yeah, well, you and I were both really excited about them signing Everson Griffin. And Aldon Smith looks like he's still got it, which is kind of, after a 5-year absence, it's kind of amazing. And so we're not really allowed to tell you who lines up where or in what positions they're being deployed. But let's just say there could be some interesting days ahead for offensive linemen. We'll be back tomorrow with more on Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, was brought to you by AT&T. Sleep Number, the Sleep Number 360 smart bed, helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.